Hello!
And welcome
to Nightmare Nation,
the paranormal-themed podcast where we talk about haunted places around the world.
And scary things.
And demons.
And ghosts.
And witches.
And seances.
And cults.
And UFOs.
And, we already said aliens.
Oh, you were the one that messed up this time.
Damn.
Not me.
Yep, it just kind of goes back and forth.
Yes.
Yep. It was me that time. And every once in a while, we take a departure from our usual sort of paranormal topics.
Yeah.
And talk about things that are just kind of fun and mysterious, such as our 2-part cult special.
That was my favorite special.
The serial killer one was pretty good, too.
Uh-huh.
But we're doing another one.
We have another 2-part special. Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, we are diving into sort of like unsolved mysteries, sort of. Like, just, I don't know.
Like big known unsolved mysterious places.
Places or like phenomena.
Yes.
Yes. And if I hadn't already covered a Dyatlov Pass for one of our other 2-part specials, I totally would have covered that as like my mysterious incident because it was so crazy. I'm still not convinced that it was an avalanche.
It fucking wasn't an avalanche.
That's false. It's just blatantly false.
It is.
So yeah, we're doing another one because they're just so fun.
Yeah, we are.
And then, like, Anna gets to, like, take a break while I talk, and then I get to take a break while Anna talks.
Hell yeah.
It's nice.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's always nice having a little weekly break.
Yeah, I think so.
But first, before we get started...
Yes.
We have to talk about our experience at the Thayer, because we fell asleep...
Got real late, and we got a little drunk, and we definitely didn't do our midnight check-in.
We did not do that.
And we didn't do any of the things we said we were going to do, so...
And we didn't follow up after the next day because we were just tired and hungover and wanted to sleep.
Yep.
So you get to learn about our experience now, Soup's Quick.
Yeah. Long story short, did not experience anything paranormal, which is a pretty significant letdown, I feel like.
There was one part of the night where I woke up. First off, they tell you on the website, but they have a train track right next to the goddamn hotel, and this train went by 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night. Just, I'm like, oh my god, it was so obnoxious.
I did not hear it at all, which is a real testament to just how drunk I was, because I'm a very light sleeper. I'm amazed I did not wake up.
Yeah, it was so loud. I don't know how you didn't.
I don't know. I was out.
But there was one point where I heard a giant, like, thud. I don't know what time it was at. I don't know where it came from. It could have came from outside. There were other people in the hotel that night. So maybe someone was up late and dropped something.
Could be.
But that was, like, the only thing I really experienced, if you want to call it a haunting.
Let's just go ahead and say it was definitely a ghost.
Yes.
We'll just go with that.
Perfect.
But yeah, I was kind of bummed. We had our little pile of change that we wanted. Oh, God, what was his name?
Gus.
Hey! Gus. I knew it was something with a G. Gus did not move our change. The prostitutes did not mess with Anna's makeup. All of our little traps that we set up for paranormal activity were not triggered.
They were not.
Unfortunately.
Which is unfortunate.
However, we had a blast.
We had so much fun.
And I feel like we're probably going to go to another hotel. Probably we'll do the Palmer House at some point in Sauk Center.
Because that's so close.
It's so close. It was really fun. So
yeah. Little getaway.
That's our little recap of the Thayer.
So if you guys want to go, it was a cute little place. Their food was delicious.
It was pretty good.
It was so good.
Can't complain.
We had happy hour all night.
Yep. Yeah. Which contributed to the falling asleep early and getting a little toasty. Because, happy hour specials all night long at the bar.
Yeah.
Also, it was the first time we had, like, been to a bar since COVID happened.
Yes.
It was the first time I had sat down and ordered a drink at a bar like a normal human, and it felt so nice. So I was just like,
let's go. And then we got into jacuzzi and hot water, and then drinking more alcohol when we got back was just a poor combination.
Yes. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Do not drink in hot tub.
Don't do that. But it was a good time. So thank you for those who watched all of our videos live and
put up with our shenanigans.
Yes. It was perfect. I hope you all enjoyed it. And we're going to go back to another one soon.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
In other fun news, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yes. Oh my God. I saw that.
Yeah.
In like 14 days.
It comes out. Oh God, I need to check.
I saw a poster for it on Facebook the other day. I was like, oh my God, I need to watch it.
Okay, it comes out Friday, June 4th. That's next Friday.
Oh, shit.
It is coming up fast, and I'm so jazzed.
We need to go see it.
I'm seeing trailers for it all over the place, and I'm like, don't look at the trailers. Horror movie trailers spoil everything.
Yeah, they
so
do.
I'm like avoiding it like the plague because I don't want to have anything be spoiled.
We have to go see it.
Yeah, we do. I went to my first movie theater movie in a while and saw Spiral, which is the newest movie in the like Saw franchise. And I was really disappointed, which is so sad because I was like so excited to go see a movie at the movie theater, and it was the Saw franchise. Like, I have yet to not like any of the Saw movies, and this one just felt so like it wasn't even about the traps. They were just like basically shoving the plot down your throat, but it was at such a fast pace. It was literally like, this person got a clue in the investigation, so they went here and they got in the trap and then they died. And then this person found a clue and they went to this place and they got in the trap and died. And the trap scenes were so rushed and no one survived any of the traps. I'm like,
well, that's dumb.
I don't like even, and they were trying to, like, they literally, like, they were rigged so that the person could not have survived. And that's so dumb because it defeats the whole point.
Yeah.
And the plot twist at the end was super obvious the whole time. And it was just, I was so bummed. It just felt like really rushed and sloppy.
Well,
and the traps weren't all that exciting and they were super rushed. And there was only like 4 of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's dumb. Normally there's way more.
There was one that was kind of interesting and this is a quick spoiler. There was one towards the very end where this guy was like suspended from the ceiling, like with his hands tied up, and there was a conveyor belt of bottles and like glass objects that fell into a grinder and then got spit out.
Oh my god!
And he was just sitting there taking shards of glass, like, oh my
god. Oh no!
That
sounds
bad.
Terrible.
It was bad. Yeah.
Holy shit!
I'm like, ooh, that's a bad one.
Oh. Well, we'll have to watch it when it comes out then. Maybe not see it in theater.
Yeah, I mean, we go on $5 Tuesdays, so we got like a discount and got discounted popcorn and stuff, and then paid freaking like $28 for beverages because I'm like, I want to order a movie theater beverage. It'll be fun. And he's like, that'll be $28. I'm like,
cool.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
But it was so delicious. It was worth it.
It's just the best.
Yeah. Well, we have to go see The Conjuring,
yeah.
and we can get movie theater popcorn.
We'll go see it on that Tuesday.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
Great.
And then we can talk about it.
Yeah. Stay tuned, friends.
It's going to be great.
June 8th, we're going to see this movie.
We're doing it.
Yes.
Seeing The Conjuring.
Have you watched anything scary lately?
Nope. I'm still on my silenced days.
That's okay.
During the day.
That's all right.
Ben watches Jeopardy when he gets home, so I get that.
Not very scary, but
nope,
all right.
Not at all. Oh, we did watch Vacancy.
Oh. Is that an older horror movie?
Yes.
From like early 2000s?
2007
God,
is when it came out.
I've
when
seen it, but it's...
The couple, they're trying to get to some parents' house or something, and their car breaks down on the highway, and so they stop at this motel, and it's a super creepy motel, and when they walk in to the office to like rent a room and to get help, the guy in the back, he's like watching something, and these girls are just screaming in the back room, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? So they ring the bell, and the guy comes out, and he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't know you guys were here, and he like stops the movie, and then because they were having car trouble, and there was a mechanic who helped them at first, and then their car broke down, so they had to go back to the motel. And so they rented a room for the night, and they got upgraded to the anniversary suite.
Ooh, also known as the kill room?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
And, like, the motel was absolutely disgusting. It was from, like, the 70s and just super outdated
Dark.
and grungy and just
nasty
absolutely
carpet.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
So then it starts off, they get in the room, and then all of a sudden they hear pounding at the front door. And then they look out, no one's there, and then they hear pounding on the side door that connects the rooms.
Oh, hell no!
Uh-huh. And it just keeps going back and forth until he goes back into the office to complain. And the guy's like, oh, well, there's no one staying in that room tonight. It's just you guys here.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they have these VHS movies in there that they pop in,
Ooh.
and it's these movies of all of these people, like couples getting killed.
Snuff film.
And then they realize that it's in that room that these people are getting killed.
That'd be so scary.
Yeah. And then it's just the whole plot starts from there, and then shit starts happening.
Trying to escape.
Yeah. Yep. Getting away from them.
God, I remember seeing that. I know I've seen it, but I literally couldn't remember anything about it because it's been like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I when we first saw it, because Ben had pointed it out, he's like, oh my gosh, a scary movie that you haven't seen. And then as we started watching it, I was like, I think I've seen sure this. I've watched this. And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
There's some pretty decent ones from like the early 2000s, I feel like.
That was like prime scary movie time.
I agree.
It's like every other month there was a new scary movie coming out, and they were all different. And now they're just like redoing everything that's already been done. It's like, give us something original.
Yeah. And I found that like most of the good horror movies that we've seen have ended up being like foreign films, like foreign horror movies, which is fine. But like I don't always want to watch a movie with subtitles. And like I have nothing against foreign film. I really enjoy a lot of foreign horror movies. They're often very good. But like sometimes I just want to sit back and I don't want to have to like read, which makes me sound really dumb. But I just like I don't want to read subtitles right now. I want to like be absorbed in the horror movie and like having to read like takes you a layer out from the experience. So
yeah.
Get it together, guys.
Seriously, let's go. Come on, writers, write your shit.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I've watched lately that's scary.
Nice.
So,
well, shall we get to it?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going first, you guys.
Woo! What are we talking about today?
Well, it's kind of a doozy. It's a really big subject. Everyone knows it.
So much.
I honestly was not much of like a connoisseur of this topic.
I know all the time.
I know you're obsessed.
Hardcore.
And I didn't really know that much about it. And I personally like don't really believe in anything sort of supernatural or like unexplainable with it. I'm pretty sure there's probably some sort of scientific explanation, or it's all just fake. I don't know. You tell me after I read. Anna's shaking her head.
I'll tell you that it's fucking real.
All right. So we're talking about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot!
He's got big feet.
Okay, so now that you've said Bigfoot, I just have to preface this by saying we have the Amazon rainforest. We have all sorts of forests that haven't been explored, and we don't know every single animal that's out there.
Yeah.
So we could have a Bigfoot that we just don't know of, and he is just very good at eluding people and doesn't want to be seen.
Maybe, but I feel like when they're discovering new species, it's like small little insects, not giant, like ape-sized, massive creatures.
They just
like,
hide themselves in caves, and they don't come out until they need food.
Well.
And know how to stay silent.
Maybe. Did I tell you? I think we saw I can't remember what it was called, but it was a movie about these people doing Bigfoot research, and they are camping, and they are literally set upon by a group of like Sasquatches, like who come and attack them. And it's actually really creepy because there's this whole like segment where they're sitting in their tents and they wake up because they hear like this sound far off. And earlier in the movie, they talk about how the Sasquatches would communicate by clacking sticks together. And so they like hear this clacking of a stick, and they're trying to like, and you can't really tell. You're like, is that what that is, or was it just something in the woods? And they're sitting there and it's quiet, and they start to go back to sleep, and then they hear the clack and it's getting closer.
No,
and they start hearing it coming from multiple directions.
Oh my god.
And then it's getting louder and more frequent, and I'm like, this is actually super creepy. Like, okay, it was pretty good for a Bigfoot movie, which I would not normally find scary. So all right,
I'm so excited to hear what you have.
Yes, I've got a lot. I mean, and I cut a substantial amount of information from this.
Well, I mean, there's so much information.
It would be like a 4-hour episode if I covered everything.
Exactly.
So this is a little bit of a summary. It's all from Wikipedia. So thank you, Wikipedia, for summarizing everyone else's work on this topic. So, Bigfoot, also commonly referred to as Sasquatch, which we have already touched on, which is basically in Canadian and American folklore. So it's not really like a...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's mostly like North America.
I suppose the Yeti is more overseas.
Yeah.
Like cold mountainous areas.
Yeah. So I don't... Maybe... And like at some point or another, and they talk about this a little bit in the Wikipedia page, like some sort of, like every culture at some point has had some sort of tale about a big towering sort of creature thing. So like there's the idea of Bigfoot around the world, but like specifically the Sasquatch Bigfoot that we're talking about is like a specific to North America situation.
Okay.
So, of course, he's an ape-like creature that is purported to inhabit the forests of North America. Supposed evidence of the existence of Bigfoot is based on a number of anecdotal visual sightings, disputed video and audio recordings, photographs, casts of large footprints, and other, like, random evidence, which is, for the most part, really highly contested. There's been no conclusive proof anywhere, and there's been what what damages the reputation is there's been a number of proven hoaxes.
Oh, absolutely.
Where people have gone out of their way to fake stuff, and then
Yep.
it gets proven, it gets debunked, and then that makes people like me not believe in any of it because like there's enough shitheads out there making stuff up for fun.
Yep.
So Bigfoot has become, of course, an icon within the fringe subculture of cryptozoology.
Ooh.
Don't know what that is, and is an enduring element of popular culture. So, like I've already mentioned, it's in movies, it's all over the place. Everyone knows about Bigfoot. Folklorists trace the figure of Bigfoot to a combination of factors and sources, including folklore surrounding the European wild man figure, folk beliefs among Native Americans and loggers, wishful thinking, and a cultural increase in environmental concerns. Which is not one I had ever considered or heard of.
All right.
The majority of mainstream scientists have historically discounted the existence of Bigfoot, considering it to be the result of a combination of folklore, misidentification, and hoaxes rather than a real living animal.
But
I that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like it's just a combination of like stories and folklore combined with like people's imaginations and seeing things.
But there have been other reports of people who have found fur and have found giant footprints that don't match a bear or a grizzly bear, that when they bring it to these zoologists, they can't match it to a specific animal. And then they go through the hair that they found on trees to try and do a DNA test, and it doesn't match any animals that are in the system.
Yeah. Do we know that those people like didn't bring that hair from elsewhere and then like send it to the lab?
Well, no, but even if they found it elsewhere, you would think if it was from a cat or a different mammal that it would have come up with the same DNA for
True.
animal.
That's true. I was thinking more of like if it was a fake hair sample, like not even from an animal, like fake. But I suppose if they were testing it for DNA, then of course it would have DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and we'll get into actually a little bit of that later when we
Okay.
talk about theories and
Sorry,
evidence. It's okay.
This topic just gets me so excited.
I know, it's totally cool. Okay, so other creatures of relatively similar descriptions are alleged to inhabit various regions of North America and throughout the world, such as the skunk ape of
The fuck is a skunk ape?
of southeastern United States, and I'm gonna look it up now because I forgot to search this earlier. I was gonna look it up.
That sounds terrifying.
Oh, it's another piece of folklore. It's not like a real thing. It's another.
Okay.
It's basically another version of Bigfoot that is not okay.
Okay.
All right. I was like,
Okay.
wait, what the hell?
I was like, what is
okay.
a skunk ape? I've never heard of this.
Oh, God. So they're saying, okay, so they're describing basically other folklore that have Bigfoot-like creatures. So, like, the skunk
Okay.
ape,
Okay.
the almas, the yeti, the yeren in Asia, and Australian yowie,
A yowie?
all of which, like Bigfoot, are ingrained in the cultures of their regions.
Huh.
So, there's a yowie in
Oh,
Australia.
I want to see a yowie.
I wanna look at the yowie.
That's cool.
All right, so here's just like a high-level description. So thousands of people have claimed to have seen a Bigfoot, which is often described as a large, muscular, bipedal ape-like creature, roughly 6 to 9 foot tall, covered in hair and described as black, dark brown, or dark reddish. So very similar to a lot of other ape descriptions. Some descriptions have the creature standing as tall as 15 feet.
Holy shit.
Can you imagine a fucking
be
15-foot tall
terrifying.
thing lumbering at you in the
No,
woods?
thank you.
No thanks. A pungent, foul-smelling odor is sometimes associated with reports of the creature, commonly described as similar to rotten eggs or skunk.
Oh.
Just like the skunk ape.
Skunk ape.
Nice.
Maybe that's why they named it the skunk ape.
Maybe. So stinky.
Because he smells gross.
That's nasty. The face of a Bigfoot is often described as human-like with flat nose and visible lips. Common descriptions also include broad shoulders, no visible neck, just freaking
just
head and shoulders.
Perfect.
And long arms. The eyes are commonly described as dark in color and have been alleged to glow yellow or red at night. However, eyeshine is not present in humans or any known great ape. So those proposed explanations for observable eyeshine in the forest would include like catching the glimpse of like an owl or another animal
Okay.
and like having your brain associate it with a Bigfoot sighting, but like any other humans or apes don't have that phenomena where the eyes like will glow. Yeah. So who knows? The enormous footprints for which the creature is named are claimed to be as large as 24 inches long and 8 inches wide.
Holy fuck.
Freaking massive. Some footprint casts have also contained claw marks, making it likely that they came potentially from known animals such as bears, which have 5 toes and claws. So any clawed ones are like believed to come from basically existing animals. The ones without claws are a little bit more not known.
Okay, I'm looking up. So a grizzly bear track will be closer to 5 inches wide by 7 inches long.
So quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, just to debunk that.
Right. Well, but it says as large as, so some of them have been smaller.
Okay,
That's like
Gotcha.
the maximum that they found. So
Gotcha.
there's been a lot of them that have been smaller that have been like most likely grizzly bears. But.
Okay.
Okay, so a little bit of history about where this bad boy came from.
I don't think I know this.
So, history. According to anthropologist David Dagling, the legends existed before there was a single name for the creature. So, like I said, there's this idea of this kind of large mammal-ish ape sort of thing that has been around long before the name Bigfoot got ascribed to it. So the legends of these creatures differed in their details both regionally and between families in the same community. So there was no one consistent version of the legend or of the story. On the Tool River Indian Reservation in California, petroglyphs created by a group of Yokuts. There's a lot of like Native American names in this, so I'm just apologizing in advance. I'm gonna botch them. I can't help it. I don't know how to pronounce them, so I'm gonna do my best. But a group of Yokuts at a site called Painted Rock are alleged by some to depict a group of Bigfoots called the Family, with a capital F, which gives me chills a little bit. Huh. The local tribespeople call the largest glyphs Hairy Man, and they are estimated to be between 500 and 1,000 years old.
Oh.
So it's old legend. Members of the Lumi tell tales of Tsemeques, the local version of Bigfoot. These stories are similar to each of the other in general descriptions, but details differed among various family accounts concerning the creature's diet and activities. Some regional versions tell more of threatening creatures, such as the Stiyaha or Quiquiai, which were a nocturnal race. Children were warned against saying the names, lest the monsters hear and come to carry off the person to be killed.
Oh, good.
It's like fucking Voldemort.
I was just going to say that.
Don't say their name or they will come kill you.
Oh, damn.
Frickin' Harry Potter.
Yep.
The Iroquois tell of an aggressive, hair-covered giant with rock-hard skin known as the Otneyarhe, or stone giant, more commonly referred to as the Ginosqua. I feel like I'm doing okay with these.
Yeah,
like,
they just sound pretty
plow
good.
through them. In 1847, Paul Kane reported stories by the natives about Skookums, a race of cannibalistic wild men living on the peak of Mount St. Helens in southern Washington state.
That sounds terrifying.
Fucking cannibal
Fuck
dudes.
that.
That makes me think of like the Sony bean. Do you know that family?
No.
I think I'm saying that right. They were like this hills tribe of cannibals that lived in, I think, in Scotland.
Oh.
Yes, the Sony Bean clan. Sony Bean was the head of a 45-member clan in Scotland in the 16th century that murdered and cannibalized over 1,000 people.
Oh my god!
In the span of 25 years, and they just like lived in the fucking hills.
Holy balls! No,
Isn't
thank
that
you.
horrific?
That's like a perfect plot for a scary movie.
Yeah, it's like The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah. Fuck
Amazing.
that. No thanks.
Yep.
Ugh.
Horrible. Yeah, so apparently there was reports of cannibals at one point, which is so horrendous. Also related to this area in Washington was an alleged incident in 1924 in which a violent encounter between a group of miners and a group of, quote, ape men occurred. These allegations were reported in July 16th, 1924 issue of the Oregonian and have become a popular piece of Bigfoot lore, and the area is now referred to as Ape Canyon.
Oh.
Yep.
Cool.
I want to go there. U.S. President Teddy Roosevelt, in his 1893 book, The Wilderness Hunter, writes of a story he was told by an elderly mountain man named Bowman, in which a foul-smelling bipedal creature ransacked his beaver trapping camp, stalked him, and later became hostile when it fatally broke his companion's neck.
Jesus!
In the wilderness near the Idaho-Montana border. Now,
that's so
that
aggressive.
Sounds like the plot of a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, just getting hunted down and stalked in the woods. And
no,
then...
thank you.
So it's like interesting that the concept has been around for like 1,000 years, and then as soon as we started having like written records of things, there's like all these different versions of these stories that are all slightly different, and it's just cool.
That's crazy.
Yep. Roosevelt, in his book, noted that Bowman appeared fearful while telling the story, but attributed the trapper's folkloric German ancestry to have potentially influenced him. So I don't know what that means. If he was like borrowing from like German folklore that had to do with some sort of big bipedal creature thing that may have influenced his interpretation of the events. I don't know.
Okay.
Less menacing versions have also been recorded, such as one by Reverend Elkanah Walker from 1840. So Walker was a Protestant missionary who recorded stories of giants living among the natives near Spokane, Washington. These giants were said to live on and around the peaks of nearby mountains and stole salmon from the fishermen's nets.
Oh!
But were otherwise nonviolent. They just liked
stealing fish.
It's delicious.
Rude. God.
In the 1920s, Indian Affairs agent J.W. Burns compiled local stories and published them in a series of Canadian newspaper articles. They were accounts told to him by the Tsitsalis people of Chehalis and others. The Tsitsalis and other regional tribes maintained that the creatures were real, and they were offended by people telling them that the figures were just legends. So they were like, don't tell me it's made up, it's freaking real. So according to these accounts, the creatures preferred to avoid white men and spoke the Liluit language of the people at Port Douglas, British Columbia, at the head of Harrison Lake. These accounts were published again in 1940, and Burns borrowed the term Sasquatch from the Halkomelem Saskek. I think it's a word from a native language spoken by a specific tribe, and he took it and named Sasquatch from that word.
Okay.
That was horrible butchery.
Intense.
It's just, yeah. So he used it in his articles to describe a single hypothetical type of creature. Because there had been so many other names for it, he wanted to give it one universal name, and that's where Sasquatch came from.
Okay.
So let's talk about some sightings.
Let's do it.
And reported
my favorite
behavior.
Part. Yeah.
So, about 1/3 of all claims of Bigfoot sightings are located in the Pacific Northwest, with the rest of the reports spread throughout the rest of North America. Most reports are considered mistakes or hoaxes, even by those researchers who do say that Bigfoot exists. So, even the people who are like, yep, it's out there, realize that there's definitely a phenomena of people hearing something in the woods and being like, oh, it was Sasquatch. So sightings predominantly occur in the northwestern region of Washington, Oregon, Northern California, and British Columbia. Other prominent areas of supposed sightings include the rural areas of the Great Lakes region.
What?
Hello.
Oh my God, could there be a Sasquatch up at the
Minnesota
Gunflint Trail?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
There's a quick side note. There's someone in our neighborhood that has one of those cardboard Sasquatch cutouts that
really?
you see out in the middle of nowhere. And it's in their yard in the middle of the freaking suburbs of the Twin Cities. And it looks so out of place. And every time I go for a walk, I come around a corner and I see it and it startles me because I'm there's a person dressed in all black standing still in the middle of the road or in the middle of someone's yard, and that's really weird. And then my brain registers nope, it's just the freaking Bigfoot cutout, and just why is it in the suburban neighborhood? It's so weird.
That's awesome.
You usually don't see them in
around here.
Yeah, it's out in the country.
Yep.
But, yeah. So
that's hilarious.
So apparently there's been sightings up by the Great Lakes.
Shit. Let's go Sasquatch hunting.
Oh my God. Let's
Sounds
not
great.
do that.
Come on.
I will look for birds. You can look for Sasquatch.
Okay, cool.
Okay, great.
Sounds good.
Apparently there's also been some reports in the southeastern United States, but they're not very common. According to data collected from the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization.
Oh, I want to be part of that organization.
You want to be a part of the BFRO?
Yeah, I do.
Do it.
Befro.
Bigfoot sightings database in 2019, Washington has had over 2,000 reported sightings, California over 1,600, Pennsylvania over 1,300, New York and Oregon over 1,000, and Texas has just over 800. The debate over the legitimacy of Bigfoot sightings reached a peak in the 1970s, and Bigfoot has been regarded as the first widely popularized example of pseudoscience in American culture.
Oh, really?
Which, didn't UFOs come before that?
I'm pretty sure. I feel like those were in the 40s.
Yeah, I feel like there was some
40s
big
or 50s.
Early UFO reports or whatever.
Yeah.
So unless that's not considered pseudoscience, I don't know what that umbrella covers necessarily, but...
Huh. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. You go, Bigfoot. Alleged eyewitnesses and individuals researching the phenomena of Bigfoot have indicated a number of disputed behaviors supposedly related to the creature. Some have reported behaviors including patterned, repetitive knocking sounds said to be produced by objects such as rocks or logs, commonly called wood knocking. So that's what I talked about in that movie, which they were just freaking clacking sticks in the woods and getting closer and closer, and it was so creepy. As well as rock throwing.
Damn you, throwing rocks.
Super rude.
Yeah.
Some Bigfoot researchers attribute these alleged behaviors to possible territorial displays and communication tactics.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
Yep. Additionally, structures constructed of broken and twisted foliage seemingly placed in specific areas have been attributed by some to Bigfoot behavior. In some reports, lodgepole pine and other small trees have been observed bent, uprooted, or stacked in patterns such as weaved and crisscrossed, leading some to theorize their potential territorial markings.
Holy shit.
I would say that could have been done by humans, but also could be Sasquatch.
De-root something?
I don't know how big the trees are, though. Like, probably not, like, full-size, like, uprooted trees.
But, I mean, even if it's, like, a pine or something, like, that'd be difficult to do without a axe.
Yeah. Or, like, machinery of some kind. Yeah. I don't know how big the trees are. It didn't say specifically. Some instances have also included entire deer skeletons being suspended high in trees.
Jesus.
Could be witches. Could be Bigfoot.
We will never know.
We will never know. In Washington State, a team of amateur Bigfoot researchers called the Olympic Project claimed to have discovered a collection of nests and had primatologists study them who concluded they appear to have been created by a primate.
Huh.
Science.
I feel like we don't have monkeys around here, right?
We sure don't.
Didn't think so.
We don't really have apes in North America.
Okay.
So there's that.
Huh.
Many alleged sightings are reported to occur at night, leading some to speculate that the creatures may possess nocturnal tendencies, which completely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
However, mainstream science largely disputes this claim, as all known apes, including humans, are diurnal, with only lesser primates possessing nocturnality. So any of the like comparable species don't have that behavior. That's not to say it's impossible, but it just doesn't fit with how other large apes act.
Mm-hmm.
Most anecdotal sightings of Bigfoot indicate the creatures being observed as solitary, although some reports have described them being observed together, which would be horrifying to
That'd
just
be terrifying.
see a cluster of them like hanging out.
Just coming straight for you, just fucking running on 2 feet.
No, thank you.
This giant 15 feet primates.
Yeah.
Fucking no.
This part always creeps me out too. So alleged vocalizations such as howls, moans, grunts, and whistles, and even a form of supposed language have been reported. And I'm just trying to picture this freaking thing like 15-foot towel howling. And like imagine hearing that sound.
That'd be terrifying.
It'd be horrifying. Some of these alleged vocalization recordings have been analyzed by individuals such as retired U.S. Navy cryptologic linguist Scott Nelson.
He didn't even know that's a thing.
Yeah, I want that job. You, like,
Seriously.
examine language to like look for codes and break stuff. I don't like what is that job? It sounds so cool, like whatever it is. He analyzed the audio recordings from the early 1970s, said to be recorded in the Sierra Nevada mountains, dubbed the Sierra Sounds, and stated, "It is definitely a language. It is definitely not human in origin. It could not have been faked."
Oh shit, I want to listen to these now.
I know. I don't know how he determined it couldn't have been faked, but I'm really curious to hear the recording. I wonder if they have them. The Sierra Sounds?
We'll do some more digging.
Do some digging.
Yeah.
So others argue that the sources of sounds attributed to Bigfoot are either hoaxes or likely misidentified and produced by known animals such as owls, coyotes, wolves, and foxes.
Which makes sense.
Foxes make some pretty scary.
Oh my god, foxes are
sounds.
terrifying.
So I could totally see where someone who wasn't familiar would be like, what the hell?
Yep. We had a goddamn fox one night at 3 a.m. screeching right outside of our window.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
We hear them at our cabin all the time. They're just like super shrieky. And,
yeah.
sound like a woman being murdered.
It's terrifying.
Horrible. All right. So the concept of what Bigfoot would consume for sustenance is a debated issue. Most mainstream scientists maintain that it is unlikely that a breeding population of hominid megafauna.
Hominid
Megafauna
like that word.
Would be able. I think that's just another umbrella term for like large human-shaped species.
Okay.
Would be able to sustain themselves in the North American forests, as great apes historically thrive only in the tropics of Africa and Asia, obviously where food is more abundant and there's more like wild fruit and things available. There's like not really much in terms of sustenance unless they are carnivores.
Unless they just like adapted to their location.
Yeah, so if they're like carnivores maybe and like adapted to eat meat, then that might be different. But again, if we're assuming that it's similar to other great apes, which are not, I mean, I don't know, maybe they eat bugs, but like they eat mostly fruit and stuff, then it seems like that would be a hard place to live. So in addition, they would face competition with bears and other large predators and would be leaving behind feces and other identifiable evidence. Others argue that, like bears, the creatures likely have an omnivorous diet and are opportunistic, much like humans. Anecdotal accounts indicate that the creatures consume roots, berries, nuts, fruit, fungi, salmon, and other fish, small mammals like rabbit and squirrel, birds, and hooved ungulates, including deer and elk.
Oh.
Which apparently that's what deer and elk are.
I guess so.
Hooved ungulates.
The scientific term for them.
You're welcome. There have also been alleged reports of Bigfoots consuming carrion or killing or stealing livestock, which is super rude.
Oh.
In 2016, Centralia College anthropology professor and Bigfoot enthusiast Mitchell Townsend presented a forensic research at the 69th Annual Anthropology Research Conference in Tacoma, Washington.
Oh my.
That he and his team completed after studying 3 different prey bones recovered near Mount St. Helens, which is where that original, like...
Where?
Yes, that was the violent encounter between the miners and the group of 8 men.
Okay.
And they claim that the bite marks found on the bones provide evidence of a large unknown hominid having made them based on their characteristics. But I don't know how valid those findings are. Not sure.
Okay.
So let's talk about some theories and some proposed explanations. So, of course, the biggest one is misidentification, and people are not actually seeing Bigfoot. They're just seeing other species and are thinking it's something else. So American black bears are the animal that are most often attributed to being mistakenly identified as Bigfoot. They've been observed and recorded walking upright, often as a result of an injury, which could explain the sort of bipedal behavior that they see with Sasquatch.
But I feel like black bears are way smaller than a grizzly bear would be, and are black bears very prominent in that region? I feel like more grizzly bears are out that way versus black bears, which I could be totally wrong, but...
Black bears are found in Alaska, much of Canada, and the contiguous United States, and extend as far south as northern Mexico. So I guess they're just kind of everywhere.
Okay.
So, they're common in the east, along the west coast, in the Rockies, and parts of Alaska. So I guess they could be in the Pacific Northwest. They kind of describe them as being kind of all over the place. But I don't really know how big they are. I'm not sure. Others argue that a bear's anatomy does not coincide with the anecdotal reports of Bigfoot sightings, which often describe the creatures as walking more human-like. I would imagine bears would be kind of like toddling awkwardly since they're not normally on 2 feet. In 2007, the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization put forward some photos which they claimed show a juvenile Bigfoot. The Pennsylvania Game Commission, however, said the photos were definitely of a bear with a mange.
A mange?
Yes.
Like a lion mane?
Mange is a skin disease of mammals caused by parasitic mites and occasionally communicable to humans, typically causes itching and hair loss.
Gross.
Yeah.
So black bears can reach 2.8 to 3 feet of height at the shoulder, 5 feet in standing position. Grizzlies can reach 3.28 feet of height at the shoulder and 6.5 feet in standing position. And they're typically between 350 to 800 pounds.
That's a lot of pounds.
Yep.
I just feel like it'd be really easy for someone to overestimate how tall they are on their feet. Like, we're going totally, no one's like measured one. So when they say like 8 to 10 feet, it's like someone eyeballing, and I don't trust people's ability to quickly eyeball a small black smudge off in the distance in the forest at night. You know what I mean? Like, it's night, like all the stories are like basically at night. There's a large hulking thing, and you're trying to quickly eyeball the height, and I could totally see like reporting it as being taller. Yeah, so it's like, even if the bears aren't the same height as the reports, we're just going in based off of people's own, like, quickly eyeballing the thing. They never actually, like, caught one and measured it, so I guess that we don't really know. But I'm always the skeptic, so you know me.
I know.
Some have proposed that sightings of Bigfoot may simply be people observing and misidentifying known great apes, such as chimpanzees, gorillas, and orangutans that may have escaped from captivity. So...
I don't believe that
I'm like, how many gorillas escape from captivity on a regular basis?
Right.
Like,
I would go more with the bear theory versus monkeys escaping.
Yeah, and I feel like they would like probably die because they wouldn't know if they've been raised in captivity and are not, like, food is scarce, like you said. Like, I feel like they would die quickly. I
mean, most of the time, if there is an escaped animal from a zoo, it's normally on the news, and the cops are there to try
and track it
and find it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't get out.
I don't know about that one, but it's just what people say. Humans have allegedly been mistaken for Bigfoot as well, with some incidents actually leading to injuries. So in 2013, a 21-year-old man in Oklahoma was arrested after he told law enforcement he accidentally shot his friend in the back while their group was allegedly hunting for Bigfoot.
Jesus Christ.
Nice one, buddy. In 2017, a shamanist who wears clothing made of animal furs was vacationing in a North Carolina forest when local reports of alleged Bigfoot sightings flooded in. The Greenville Police Department issued a public notice not to shoot the Bigfoot in fear of someone in a fursuit being mistakenly injured or killed, which that's what it was. It was literally just a person wearing furs, and everyone was like, Bigfoot's here, oh my God. And the police are like, do not shoot. This is probably a person.
Good Lord.
Do not kill them. And then in 2018, a person was shot multiple times by a hunter near Helena, Montana, who claimed he mistook him for a Bigfoot. So everyone calm your fucking shit.
It's like, how do you mistake a person for Bigfoot?
I
Like,
don't
are these
know.
people wearing, like you said, like fur?
outfits? I don't know. That lady was for sure. I guess I don't know if it was a lady. That person was. I don't know about the other people. But,
Right.
Yeah.
But like, if you're hunting, you should know the difference. And don't just shoot.
Yes,
shoot.
but I also feel like if you're going out hunting for Bigfoot, you're
Well,
also
yeah.
maybe not like... I don't know. I just feel like there's a certain type of person I associate with that kind of behavior, like hunting Bigfoot with a rifle. Like they may not
That's
be
a
the
little aggressive.
most careful when it comes to like I don't know, gun safety,
Making
hunting.
sure they're not shooting a person.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Not sure. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with that. I just have a certain like type of person in mind when I think
Mental
of
image.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, some have attributed feral humans or hermits living in the wilderness as being another explanation for alleged Bigfoot sightings. So,
Oh, yeah?
little like hillbilly, like wilderness hermits living off the grid. I'm picturing people from like the Wrong Turn series. So one famous story, The Wild Man of Navidad, tells of a wild ape man who roamed the wilderness of East Texas in the mid-19th century, stealing food and goods from local residents. A search party allegedly captured an escaped African slave who was attributed to the story. So it ended up just being a person. During the 1980s, thousands of emotionally damaged American Vietnam veterans were discovered living in remote forests across North America, living off of the land and wearing animal hides as clothing, which of course could be easily interpreted as like a Bigfoot colony. And then as of 2020, many of these survivalist veterans continue to call the forests of the Pacific Northwest home, which is so interesting. There's just a colony of
So
like
weird.
war vets living in the wilderness, like totally off the grid in their own little community.
Huh.
Super
Sounds kind of
interesting.
perfect.
Yeah.
Let me live off
minus
the
the
grid.
Vietnam War trauma
Well,
part.
yeah.
But
Yeah, not that part.
How fun.
But just living in the wilderness and living off grid.
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's do it. And the Pacific Northwest is a great place to do it. It's so gorgeous. Some have proposed that pareidolia may explain Bigfoot sightings, which is specifically the tendency to observe human-like faces and figures within the natural environment. So this is not just specific to Bigfoot. Like, we have a
Yeah.
tendency to ascribe certain, like, humanoid sort of, like, tendencies to other things
Seeing
that we
faces
see.
in your toast.
Exactly.
Seeing Jesus.
Photos and videos of poor quality alleged to depict Bigfoots are often attributed to this phenomenon. So, like, super blurry things that could probably be anything, but, like, your mind has a certain image of what Bigfoot looks like, and you see it, and then you kind of, like, make the image fit your mental picture of what Bigfoot looks like. This phenomenon is commonly referred to as Blobsquatch.
Blobsquatch.
Because it's just like a fuzzy blob in a photo, and they're like, it's Bigfoot! And you're like, you can't see
There's
anything.
nothing in there.
Bigfoot proponents Grover Krantz and Jeffrey H. Bourne believe that Bigfoot could be a relict population of Gigantopithecus. Oh, baby. All Gigantopithecus fossils were found in Asia. So apparently it's this like ancient sort of humanoid ape thing. It's an extinct species, and they think it's like some sort of like surviving population
Mutation,
of
something.
Yeah. So all of those fossils were found in Asia, but according to Bourne, many species of animals migrated across the Bering Land Bridge. So that's the little bridge of land that connected like Alaska to Russia, I think it was.
Okay.
So they use that to like travel between the continents, and so it's possible that they could have migrated over. However, these fossils have not actually been found anywhere in the Americas, so it's just a theory.
Okay.
The only recovered fossils are of mandibles and teeth, leaving uncertainty about Gigantopithecus's locomotion, like whether or not it was on 2 feet or 4 feet or whatever. Mm-hmm. Primatologist John R. Napier and anthropologist Gordon Strasenberg have suggested a species of Paranthropus as a possible candidate for Bigfoot's identity, such as Paranthropus robustus, with a gorilla-like crested skull and bipedal gait, despite the fact that these fossils are only found in Africa. But everyone's like, well, they exist somewhere. Maybe in some way they made it over to North America somehow. Who knows?
There was Pangea, so...
Yeah, I mean, maybe they got brought over on a boat by, like, some people way a long time ago. Exactly. And then a small community grew, and they've been thriving. Who knows? Yeah. Okay, this is kind of the last, like... explanation. Michael Rugg of the Bigfoot Discovery Museum presented a comparison between human Gigantopithecus and Meganthropus skulls in a show that he was doing for the museum, and he favorably compares a modern tooth suspected of coming from a Bigfoot to the Meganthropus fossil teeth, noting the worn enamel on the occlusal surface. God, there's so many freaking words that I don't know what it means. So basically, the teeth looked similar.
Cool.
Cool. It could be one of these like ancient ape species that has somehow survived to this day in North America. All right. So hoaxes. So both Bigfoot believers and non-believers agree that many of the reported sightings are indeed hoaxes or misidentified animals. Author Jerome Clark argues that the Jacko affair, which I don't really know anything about, it was this like big thing where there was an 1884 newspaper report of an ape-like creature captured in British Columbia, and basically it got proven to be a hoax. So he cited research by a guy named John Green, who found several contemporaneous British Columbia newspapers regarded the alleged capture as highly dubious.
Oh.
So even at the time, people were like, this is totally fake. Like, you made this up. In 1968, the frozen corpse of a supposed hair-covered hominid measuring 5 feet 11 inches was paraded around the United States as part of a traveling exhibition. Many stories surfaced as to its origin, such as it having been killed by hunters in Minnesota or killed by American soldiers during the Vietnam War. It was attributed by some to be proof of Bigfoot-like creatures. However, primatologist John R. Napier, so we talked about him earlier too, studied the subject and concluded it was hoax and it was completely made of latex.
Oh,
so
way
to go, guys.
Sweet.
Others disputed this, claiming he never actually studied the original object, but I mean, yeah. So
can say that about everything.
As of 2013, the subject, dubbed the Minnesota Iceman, is on display in the Museum of the Weird in Austin, Texas. I don't know if it's still there.
Huh.
If you're in Austin and have been to this museum,
I want to go to that museum.
Let us know.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. It sounds like a tourist trap.
Yeah.
Total tourist trap. Tom Biscardi, longtime Bigfoot enthusiast and CEO of Searching for Bigfoot, Inc.
Oh.
Like, what is that company? Like, what the hell do you...
How do you start these companies and make money?
He appeared on the Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Radio Show in 2005 and said he was 98% sure his group will be able to capture a Bigfoot, which they had been tracking in California. A month later, he announced on the same radio show that he had access to a captured Bigfoot and was arranging a pay-per-view event for people to see it. He then appeared on the radio show a few days later to announce that there was indeed no captive Bigfoot.
Huh, weird.
He blamed an unnamed person for misleading him about the information, and he said that the show's audience was just being too gullible to believe him.
Or you had nothing to begin with.
Or you just fucking made up stuff and people were excited and you lied to them. For sure, your unnamed source misled you.
Whatever you say, guy.
On July 9th, 2008, Rick Dyer and Matthew Witten posted a YouTube video claiming they had discovered the body of a dead Bigfoot in a forest in northern Georgia. Tom Biscardi, that same guy that was the CEO of that company, was contacted to investigate. They received $50,000 from Searching for Bigfoot, Inc. as a good faith gesture. The story got covered by many major news networks. Soon after a press conference, the alleged Bigfoot body was delivered in a block of ice in a freezer with the Searching for Bigfoot team. When the contents were thawed, observers found the hair was not real, the head was hollow, and the feet were made of rubber. Dyer and
Like,
Witten.
what do you expect?
I don't know. Like
come on.
Like, they weren't going to look into it, dudes.
Exactly.
Like, what? They were just going to, like, look at it and say, oh, yeah, looks
that's
legit.
Bigfoot. Like, come on.
And they got $50,000. Like,
that's ridiculous.
Assholes. So they admitted it was a hoax after being confronted, of course.
Well,
so
right.
I don't know if they had to pay the money back. I would hope so. Freaking assholes. In August 2012, a man in Montana was killed by a car while perpetrating a Bigfoot hoax using a suit. So he was running around trying to get people to think Sasquatch was nearby and was hit by a car.
Well, that's your own fucking fault,
unfortunate.
you stupid.
Okay, and then in January 2014, Dyer, who was the guy who was part of one of the other hoaxes I just mentioned, said he had killed a Bigfoot in September 2012 outside of San Antonio. He claimed to have had scientific tests conducted on the body, from DNA tests to 3D optical scans to body scans. Quote, "It's the real deal. It's Bigfoot. Bigfoot's here, and I shot it, and now I'm proving it to the world." He said he had kept the body in a hidden location, and he intended to take it on tour across North America in 2014. He released photos of the body and a video showing a few individuals' reactions to seeing it, but never released any of the tests or scans.
Weird.
Suspect.
God.
He refused to disclose the test results or to prove any biological samples. Provide any biological samples. He said the DNA results were done by an undisclosed lab and could not be matched to identify any known animal.
Mm-hmm.
Dyer said he would reveal the tests and the body on February 9th, 2014 at a news conference, but he never made the test results available. After the Phoenix tour, the Bigfoot body was taken to Houston, and on March 28th, 2014, Dyer admitted on his Facebook page his Bigfoot corpse was another hoax.
Oh, weird.
Same fucking asshole who did it
Guy.
the first time. Like, I would never...
no one is gonna trust you anymore,
Never
even if you do
again.
find one.
I wouldn't trust him after the first time.
No.
Like, I can't believe he did it again. What an ass.
God.
He had paid someone named Chris Russell of Twisted Toy Box to manufacture the prop from latex foam and camel hair, which he nicknamed Hank. He earned approximately $60,000 from his tour of the second fake Bigfoot corpse. So people actually paid to go see it, and it was fake.
Fuck him.
Get this.
Ooh.
He stated that he really did kill a Bigfoot, but did not take the real body on tour for fear it would be stolen.
Fucking bullshit.
That's
you lying
such
sack of
bullshit.
turd.
It's the biggest
No.
bullshit. You wanted a freaking quick buck.
God.
Yeah.
You know how much more money you could make if you actually had a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't just be sitting on that shit. You would want to prove it to the goddamn
Right,
world.
like, because you've already damaged your reputation once. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, I guess I understand, like, people stealing the body, but, like, why would you announce to the world that you're going to put it on tour and then do a fake one? Like,
Yep.
And you cannot prove in any way that you had a real one. You won't disclose any of the results. Like, no, I smell bullshit. It's stinky and it's real, and you're a freaking fraud.
Shit ain't real.
So, guys,
How about that?
that was like a lot of information, and believe me, that's like 10% of what is out there. So
There's so much more out there.
I, for one, am
my
like,
gosh.
I don't disagree that there might be some sort of undiscovered species out there. I just think, in my head, I think the more likely thing is that people have heard these tales and are seeing things that they think look bigger than they are, or are just like misidentifying things, or hearing sounds that can otherwise be explained, because I just tend to be a skeptic with that sort of thing, but that's just me. I know you believe in it.
Yeah, I
So-
think he's real.
Yeah.
I don't have any proof
Well,
of
sure.
it, but I think that...
I mean, we don't have proof of the paranormal either.
Oh,
It's
right,
all like
exactly.
just a leap of faith, so.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it could be out there, it could not, until I actually see something and get it on video, then we'll see.
It better not be Blobsquatch.
I feel like, and that's the thing too, is that everybody, like all the shows that you watch of like unexplained mysteries about Bigfoot, or like these hunting
Fuzzy little
Bigfoot,
freaking...
yeah, everything that they catch is just like this fuzzy little something moving around, and it's like, okay, this could have just been your friend in a gorilla suit, and you didn't zoom in enough, or you didn't have a good enough camera.
Also, like...
And then they're just like trotting by.
If you really, really... I mean, guys, cameras are so good. Like,
Yeah.
there's such good technology available. I've seen some of the most amazing nighttime photography. Like, the equipment exists if you legitimately want to go out and prove that Bigfoot is there. buy a
Get the
freaking
good
nice
shit.
camera and don't take it with
Exactly.
your freaking like flip phone from 1997
Yep.
and take a little fuzzy ass like square like blobby picture of
You can't make out
nothing.
anything.
That's why it's like I feel like if it really existed, we'd have a clearer picture by now. There's such good photography equipment available. I think that's the biggest reason I'm not really sure I believe it, because I feel like if it was out there, we would have some sort of easily
Identifiable
readable photo.
Yes.
Because there's so much good equipment available, but I don't know. I don't know.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Until
or maybe we will.
Science comes about and we figure it out.
Friends, do you
So-
believe in Bigfoot?
You let us know.
Tell us. We
Let
want to
us-
know.
Yeah.
Have you seen Bigfoot? Do you got a blobby ass picture of him? Send it in.
Do you have a story? We want to know about it.
Yeah. Have you been hearing wood clacking?
Wood clocking.
Wood clocking. in the
Clocking
woods.
together.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah. We want to know.
So that's Bigfoot.
So,
Friends, our next segment.
next segment.
Anna got a little schwasty on Saturday.
Yep, did.
And she's got a drink to share.
Sat outside from noon till midnight. Baking, Jesus.
You were baking in the sun.
Yeah, I was baking in the sun, but we were smoking a brisket and drinking drinks all day long in the sun. It was hot, but perfect. So Ben found this video. It was on Tipsy Bartender.
Thanks
And
again, Tipsy Bartender.
we made ours a little different because it's supposed to be made with Seagrams. They have Italian ice bottles. And so it's a red, white, and blue. I think one's like blue raspberry and then cherry, and then the white is like a lemon or something. And so with it, you're supposed to use the white one and crush it with ice, and then you put the red and the blue together in your cup. But I'm going to tell you how I made mine.
Okay.
So Smirnoff has canned red, white, and blue, essentially like a slushie. So it's like the Seagrams, but it's all mashed together. So it's cherry, blue raspberry, and then like a lemon.
That sounds so
or something.
good.
They're delicious.
I want one.
highly recommend trying them, even not just on their own. Super good. So in your blender, fill it probably about halfway with ice. I don't have actual measurements for you.
I mean,
for
you're making a
this.
big slushy. You can ballpark it. It's not like you're making an old-fashioned or something.
Exactly. So fill it about halfway, maybe 3/4 of ice, and then pour in 1 can of the Smirnoff. It's going to give you 2 really big slushies. We had to use my 32-ounce Arctic cup
Holy dang.
to fill it.
Big ol' slushy.
Yes. And then you put in roughly around 3 to 4 ounces of tequila and 3 to 4 ounces of triple sec. Top your blender, blend it until you get a nice little slushy action going. Pour it into the biggest cup that you have. And then you're going to open up a second can of your Smirnoff, and you're going to properly and carefully drop it into your cup. So you need to leave enough room in your cup to figure out, like, volume-wise so it doesn't overflow.
Yep.
So you put that in.
Like
and-
upright?
No, upside down.
Open?
Yeah.
Oh, how does it not, like, overflow your glass then?
Because of pressure in there, it, like,
Oh.
sucks it in somehow.
I see.
It's just like putting a Corona into your
and like a margarita. Got
yeah.
it. Okay, interesting.
So you flip it upside down, and then as you drink, some more of it comes out. And so you just have a very alcoholic beverage, and it's fucking delicious.
It's like having a snow cone then, as like
Yeah.
the little syrup is kind of continually coming in the drink.
It's perfect.
Delicious.
I mean, you can always make it half, so if you just want to make it for yourself, just pour in half of the can, and then blend it, and then pour the other half of the can into the drink. So you don't have to make like a full batch of it.
But why would you not want a full batch?
Exactly.
Just go to town.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's we're going to call it a Smirnoff slushie.
Ooh, love
Because
it.
that's what I got for you.
Perfect.
Try it out because it's fucking delicious on a hot day.
You want to make one.
Oh, so good.
Yum.
Yes.
So, if you've tried this beverage, please let us know what you think.
Heck yeah.
We want to hear from you guys.
Fucking delicious.
We also want to hear your thoughts on Bigfoot, and we definitely want to hear if you have ever experienced anything paranormal or strange or unexplained. If you've ever had a Bigfoot sighting, we definitely want to hear about that.
Yeah.
So send us an email at nightmarenation19@gmail.com, please.
Or check us out on the Facebook where you get all of your super awesome content, like our beverages, really great pictures of Annie and I that we take, and just fun things.
All
that
sorts
we
of good
post.
stuff.
Yeah. Check us out Instagram, nightmare.nation19, or the Facebook nightmare_nation19.
Do it. Also, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out any of this goodness.
Hell yeah.
Also, just an advance notice, we will be taking a
yes.
break next week because it is Memorial Day weekend. Anna's going to be camping. I will be at my cabin. We will not be recording an episode for next week.
No, we are taking it easy, hanging out with family, relaxing, getting away from work.
We suggest you do the same.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do it. And have a good Memorial weekend,
Yes.
friends.
Yes, do that.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time.
Oh,
wait, we forgot to say. Oh, shit.
You guys.
Oh, I almost forgot our
didn't warn ya.
most important advice.
What is our most important advice, Annie?
You know. It's don't be a fucking idiot and use a Ouija board.
And use a Ouija board.
Don't do it.
Or don't do seances.
Yep.
Don't summon the devil.
Nope.
You know, just don't do that shit.
Stay away.
Because it's dangerous.
Just like you shouldn't do hard drugs, don't do seances with Ouija boards.
Just say no.
Just say no to Ouija boards.
Just say no, friends.
Oh my god, our new slogan. Just say no.
Perfect. All right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.